The electorate in Marigot and Salisbury will go back to the polls to elect a leader. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt announced today that the Dominican Labour Party will contest by-elections in these two constituencies following the vacancy of these two seats. He says nomination day will be on June the 21st, while elections day will be on July 9th, 2010.
These by-elections are unfortunate, but they are necessary in our quest to uphold the provisions of the Constitution. The Dominican Labour Party will contest both seats in the upcoming by-elections. We believe we have a duty to ensure that the people of Marigot and Salisbury receive the representation that they deserve and to which they are entitled. Simply put, the Dominican Labour Party shall step in to fill the breach created by the ill-advised political actions of the United Workers' Party. Clearly, in contesting these by-elections, the United Workers' Party will be asked to state publicly whether, in the event of success, it would be taking up either or both of the seats. If it has no intention of so doing, then the voters of these constituencies should factor this reality in the decision-making process. If the United Workers' Party indicates that it would, in the event of success in these by-elections, take up either or both the seats, then it begs the question as to what the so-called boycott of the past 6 months was all about. The central point at issue, ladies and gentlemen, is that the House of Assembly is made up of 21 seats, representative of the 21 electoral districts in the Commonwealth of Dominica. It is important, indeed essential, that every electoral district be adequately represented in deliberations of the House of Assembly. These forthcoming by-elections will seek to fill the void and the vacuum created by vacancies for the Marigot and Salisbury seats. Accordingly, and on the advice of several legal luminaries here in Dominica and elsewhere, I have today advised His Excellency the President to issue writs for by-elections in Salisbury and Marigot constituencies. I have also advised that nomination day should be 21st of June 2010 and that polling day should be on the 9th of July 2010. It is my fervent wish that voters of these constituencies would consider carefully the issues at stake in these by-elections and will vote on Friday, 9 July 2010 to ensure competent and reliable representation for these constituencies in our Parliament.
Prime Minister Skerritt also recalled the situation that led to what he called an unfortunate by-election.
The Dominican Labour Party won 18 of 21 seats in the House of Assembly and received in excess of 61% of all votes cast. The United Workers' Party won 3 seats. Significantly, the United Workers' Party received just over 12,000 votes, nearly 4,000 less than it did in 2005. As soon as the results of the general elections were announced, the leadership of the United Workers' Party decided to boycott sittings of the House of Assembly. Interestingly, when it became apparent that by virtue of the relevant provision of the standing orders of the House of Assembly, its 3 seats in the Parliament could and would most likely have become vacant, the United Workers' Party strategically advised its elected member for Rosa Central to attend the 3rd sitting of Parliament and be sworn in as a member of the House. It is to be noted that the Rosa Central seat was won by a mere 3 votes and therefore would have been considered marginal in the event of a by-election. The United Workers' Party opted for its elected member to take the oath of office and be sworn in. As the duly elected for that seat indicates quite clearly its recognition of the danger and the consequence of not so doing. That alone, fellow Dominicans, speaks to the complete disregard that the United Workers' Party has shown for the Parliament of this country, and equally important for the interests of voters of the Marigot and Salisbury constituencies. That members would have deliberately refused to attend and participate in sittings of the House of Assembly merely as a means of making a political statement is most unfortunate and is to be regretted. Nonetheless, the 2 seats in question became vacant by the application of the relevant provision of the law, and it is today my duty as Prime Minister to advise His Excellency the President to inform the country of the issuance of writs for the holding of by-elections to fill the vacant seats of Marigot and Salisbury.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Carrot. We will bring you remarks from the leadership of the UWP in a subsequent newscast. Minister with responsibility for disaster management, Charles Savara, says Hazard Awareness Month is an important time in Dominica. He was delivering remarks to commemorate Hazard Awareness Week in Dominica. He says the week seeks to raise the awareness of the many hazards around us.
In recognizing the success of last year's activity, it is my duty to encourage all the stakeholders to build on the success by focusing directly on the individual and at the community level, replicating, as it were, the success and best practices identified at the national and corporate levels as we seek to strengthen our planning, mitigation, preparedness, and response mechanisms as a nation-state. One school of thought suggests that where man interfaces with hazards, disasters are likely to occur. Dominica, as we well know, is a multi-hazard prone state by virtue of having in excess of 10 active volcanoes and being susceptible to sea surges, hurricanes, earthquakes, landslides, bushfires, oil spills, traffic accidents, and the like. I therefore want to strongly suggest that this year the focus should be to know your hazards and vulnerabilities and to plan for mitigating such risks through disaster risk reduction and management.
Mr. Savre says a scope of this week's exercise should span not just 1 week, but the entire year, as the country's exposure to hazard is year-round.
Hazard Week therefore provides the opportunity for the various stakeholders, including the Office of Disaster Management, to bring into focus the fact that natural disasters and man-made disasters are part of our very existence. It also allows us the opportunity to identify and strengthen synergies that exist among stakeholders in the planning, preparation, mitigation, recovery, and rehabilitation. The efforts required in dealing with some of the potential hazards that we are faced with. In so doing, I would like us to focus on consolidating our efforts towards hazard mapping, disaster preparedness, and disaster risk reduction. We must begin to see disasters not only as one-off events, but as phenomena triggered by multiple factors, requiring multiple and holistic solutions. Therefore, our interventions need to be continuous, deliberate, dynamic, and integrated so that they can guide our development process and strategies.
Minister with responsibility for disaster management, Charles Savre. The minister's address will be aired in its entirety after the news package. Agriculture Minister Matthew Walter is encouraging Dominicans to support local. Dominican farmers have been expressing concern that a recently opened supermarket is selling imported vegetables to consumers at a cheaper price, which they say is affecting their sale on the market. Mr. Walter says he will continue to protect the farmers of the country.
I am on the farmers' side, and I want to let Dominica know and the region know that I am on the farmers' side. I am very sensitive to the farmers of this country. The farmers work hard. They work extremely hard. I am a farmer myself. And the turnover is not so great. All right? And the cost of producing in this country, is a lot. And I'm very sympathetic to the farmers who go to the farms on a daily basis, and they work extremely high, and to be able to sell what they produce